Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, is supported by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with code CLUB at 22. Your balls will thank you. Hello everyone and welcome to Club Reaction as Rangers manage a rare away win in the league by beating St Johnstone by 1-0. Less than a classic, a terrible game of football, but I suppose it's 3 points, it's better than a draw. I am your host Scott Carney and I'm joined by Ali Pearson. Ali, how are you mate after that?
The only positive I can take from that game is we get 3 points. That is the only positive I can take from it, because I'm telling you, I knew it would be a turgid game, but that was even worse than I thought it was going to be. That was diabolical. Not a great advert for Scottish football. One I will not rewatch, but it's 3 points, and that's what we needed.
It was absolute. It was a different level of turgid, mate. Honestly, that was a brutal watch. That really was. Look, I'm not going to use excuses with the pitch, etc., but the pitch looked ploughed at parts. But my God, we didn't have to make hard work of that, mate. We will get into all of it, mate, and we will break it down. First of all, I need to give a shout out to Dundee Taylor, Potato Man, and Stephen Smart, who all bought the podcast some coffee. Very much appreciated and very generous of you. So thank you for your support. And yes, as always, please do like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like. That would be great. Right, Ali, but before we get to football, we have to address this Sydney Cup shaped elephant that's in the room. We have to speak about it, mate. There's no point in us leaving it till tomorrow night. I'll get the other lads' opinions on it when they're back on. Now, for those that don't know, it was confirmed today by James Bisgrove that we would be taking part in the Sydney Cup during the next winter break, where will be a friendly old firm, which is almost as bad as the half and half scarf things, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like a friendly old firm. It's a shocker. James Bisgrove appeared on the Daily Update on Heart and Hand, and plaudits need to go to David Edgar for not really holding back with some of the questions that he asked. It's clearly not been James Bisgrove's final decision for this to happen, which kind of makes it worse when you consider the people that are on the board. Bisgrove's obviously released a video on RTV trying to justify the decision why he's done it, and then also there was a pretty scripted statement from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, I think, to try and somehow convince everyone that this was a rather good idea. It's being promoted even as Angie's homecoming, mate, and they are describing it as the Glasgow Derby. The only way the club could have made this worse, mate, is if they decided that we were going to wear a limited edition green strip while we go down there. Honestly, I have got no idea what the club are thinking with this. They're way out of touch here. I can't stand it. To be honest, I think it's shocking. I'm curious to know what you think of it, mate.
It's I was raging with it, and I was raging when I heard the rumours about it. Oh, and then Rangers didn't come out. They were the last ones to come out about it. I honestly thought Rangers were having a change of heart and they were going to come out and tell us, no, we're not doing it. James Bisgrove is a commercial director. At the end of the day, his job is to go out and try and bring money into Rangers, but that has to be passed off by a board. A board that are apparently Rangers men and who are trying to come across this season of listening to the fans. There's been several things the fans have wanted, and I don't think they've listened to us. And I think this is a slap in the face to Rangers fans. I really do. To go over there with that other side of the city who don't refer to us as Rangers. The director, whatever it was, that did the eulogy at Walter's funeral, and he get pulled up for not using, because he said Rangers, and they had to apologise. Disgraceful. I don't want to be associated with them. They call us, like you just said there, the Glasgow Derby. They don't call it an old firm. They're promoting it over there as Angie's fucking homecoming, which is a joke. It's embarrassing, and they need to realise the Rangers board. See, when we went all the way down to the fucking 3rd division, we backed that football club all the way back to the top. When we were told not to buy strips, we didn't buy strips. When we could buy strips, fuck, this Castore didn't know it hit them. Thought it was Christmas every day with them. And I'm sorry. And David Edgar, I need to say hats off to him today. I listened to that on the way back from work. He didn't hold any punches. He told Bisgrove how it was. And Bisgrove's not going to come out and say what we want him to say in terms of, oh no, we'll go back and have a think about it again. I deep down think the only Rangers have only done this because I've got a suspicion Rangers think, as we all think, we're going to shit the bed with this league this season. And it's money for next season. Because he basically said it's worth more than winning the SPL, which is about 3 million or something. So I reckon if we were canter in this league this season, I don't even think we would have entertained it. Because obviously you've got that Champions League money. I just think they're out of touch with the Rangers fans. Saturday will be interesting. It's supposed to be celebrating 150th year anniversary. I think Celtic are laughing at it across the city. They really are. There's another scandal going on in this city, which you know why this has been brought to our attention now, this homecoming cup in November. It's to gloss over a situation that nobody wants to talk about, including our First Minister, who's going on about David Goodwillie once again the other day, but won't go on about something happening on the other side of the city. I think they need to get together the board and really have a think about this, because Rangers fans I've seen online are boycotting my jersey, which is 50 quid a year. They're saying they're going to buy tops, they're not going to go to games. It could hurt them in the pocket even more, Rangers, in the long term rather than the short term gain. And I think they need to have a long, hard think about it, because I think Saturday there'll be a lot of protests about this. I really do.
I've yet to hear from a Rangers fan, mate, that thinks this is a particularly good idea. I can't understand why the board have decided to do it. The money that you're going to make from it is not enough. That's not a justification for something like this. Read the room. I mean, how difficult is it to ask Heart and Hand, the podcast, ask them what they think, your media partners with them, ask Follow, ask anyone what they think of this decision. It's a shocking decision by Rangers, absolutely shocking, and I can't believe that they've let it happen. And I am not particularly pleased with the way Bisgrove answered the questions either from David Edgar. Not the questions that were asked, I thought they were great, but he understands that there's going to be frustration, and then it was, these are the same people that are going to want results on the park. And then it was David Edgar asked, is there any scope for this to be cancelled, for this to be rethought through? And his answer in a roundabout way was no. It's going to happen whether we like it or not, all because of the money thing. And no, it's an absolute joke. And as you mentioned, mate, fans talking about boycotting, buying merch and stuff. This could have serious ramifications for this board going forward, because there is talk of protests happening. This is our 150th year anniversary that's happened, and this has all been brought up, and we've played into the hands of it. I mean, it is the most naive of things for Rangers to go and do. I am not happy about it at all. I think it's an absolute joke, and I struggle to believe that the board have sat down and thought this through and went, oh yeah, every Rangers fan's going to love that. Like, it's a ridiculous decision, absolutely, an absolute shocker. So, in the strongest possible terms for me, mate, it's a no. It is an absolute no. I'm aware that we've got a few people that listen to us from Australia, mate. So this is a wee bit of a call to them. Please let us know in the comments, if you've watched this podcast, what you think of this. I genuinely want to know what you make of this. I know you don't often get a chance to see Rangers, and you have to go up at silly o'clock in the morning to do it, but I'm very curious to hear what you think about it. But I certainly won't be going to Australia to this absolute farce of a tournament that Rangers have played straight into the hand of Celtic for. It's an absolute joke. I can't go on board with it, and I won't. And if the board know what's good for them, they pull the plug on this. Even if it costs them money, they pull the plug on this, because it's an absolute joke. Anyway, mate, we'll move on to the game. We'll get into that a bit more detail probably tomorrow night, mate, when the other two lads are on.
I can't wait to hear Ryan. Friday
Ryan's
night,
going
you'll
to
be
be
good.
pretty good. Yes, he's
Strap
not best
yourselves
pleased
in.
today. Yeah, he's not best pleased. So tune in to what day are we on? Wednesday. Tune in Friday for the preview. It should be an interesting one. Right, mate, let's move into the game. Starting 11 tonight, McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Balogun, Bassett, Lundstrom, Kamara, Aribo, Arfield, Kent and Morelos. Thoughts on the team, mate?
Shocked.
Yep.
Shocked and not shocked, if that makes sense. I honestly thought McLaughlin had to come in tonight, and McGregor's there, which tells me McGregor's going to be there to the end of the season.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happens, he's going to be there. Scott Arfield, and I love Scott Arfield. He's 33 years of age. He's been blown out his arse for the past 3 games. We've all said it. Everybody online said it. He had to come out. See, Fashion Sakala, for some reason, he gets a start for Rangers. He looks brilliant. He scores goals. And then the next game he's dropped. What does he need to do to get a game for Rangers? It was crying out for Sakala this game. Crying out. And some of his decisions, Van Bronckhorst, are worrying me in terms of when he picks teams now. They're worrying me, and obviously you'll get into the game in terms of another thing that didn't happen today. That seriously worried me. But yeah, I was shocked, but at the same time, I wasn't shocked.
Yes. Yeah, probably. No, I was disappointed, mate. When I was like, come on, man, get a rest. Look, I love Scott Arfield too. I've got a signed picture of him behind me, mate. Do you know what I mean? But no, I mean, come on. I mean, honestly, like he's still not recovered from the Dortmund game, and I'm not trying to bash him. I'm really not. But towards the end of that match tonight, he didn't want the ball. It's just, don't give it to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was literally dead on his feet. He made so many tired-looking challenges. Lost his man, I don't know how many times. Look, it's not cost us tonight, the decision that Gio has made. Certainly didn't make it comfortable, if you're going to ask me. And the only rational thing I've got in my head is the pitch was poor and maybe the ball wasn't played on the ground very much, mate. So I suppose we'll get into that. Into the game though, mate, and what a start. Literally, what a start. As Glenn Kamara puts us ahead of all people, mate. We're asking for midfielders to score goals, and there he comes. The ball's fired into Goldson, to the feet of fired in from Goldson to the feet of Morelos. He dinks it over, a wee chip reverse pass over the top, and Glenn Kamara slips it away, mate. Great goal, and I just thought, righty-o, here we go. We're going to have a very comfortable evening in Perth.
Couldn't ask for a better start. Great goal. Like you say, Goldson into Morelos. That's a great chipped sort of reverse ball over the top to Kamara. And there's Kamara, who I did notice today was further up the park. At times he was bursting at times, and a great finish for Kamara. And you're looking at that 1-0 up away at St Johnstone after 3 minutes. You always want that early goal against these teams because they try and keep it 0-0 for as long as possible. And we got the early goal, and yeah, I was thinking maybe Rangers are actually going to turn up tonight and put a performance in. We'll get a few goals, and I was delighted with the start. I was really delighted.
Yeah, really happy. Again, from there in, it just becomes one of the most scrappiest games you've probably ever seen. And I'm kind of looking through what I've kind of noted down during the game, mate, and I'm going, is there really any point in talking about that? I mean, really? I mean, there's nothing really to report. Morelos striking the base of the post. I mean, he was really unlucky there.
Yeah.
Again, he did. I thought Morelos started really well in the first 20 minutes, mate. He looked keen. He looked like. But again, this is what I mean. He was winning the balls and he was getting it knocked down. But Arfield's about 3 yards away from him. And this particular one, Morelos actually gets it down and manages to get it into Arfield. The two St Johnstone defenders kind of close in front of him to stop the ball. The ball rumbles out to Morelos, takes one touch and whacks it and hits the base of the post. He was really unlucky, but for the entire match, I thought just Morelos just ran his heart out.
I thought he was really good, Morelos. The frustrating thing about, and this isn't about Morelos, it's things he had to do in the game in terms of he had to drop deep a lot of the time because I thought the midfield at times was non-existent tonight. He had to drop deep and try and get Rangers going again. And when he drops deep to try and get Rangers going again, there's nobody there. And he's doing two men's job, to be honest, in terms of he was dropping back to get the ball. Let's get it going again. And he was a positive in that first half. Morelos, I thought Tav was all right in the first half as well. Big Bassey, obviously get that booking. I mean, obviously come on to, and I'm sick of talking about bloody referees in this
Fucking refs.
podcast.
I was going to try and avoid it, mate, but
I think we should talk about it because it's the inconsistency, right? See Bassey's challenge, it's a booking. It's a booking all day long. I don't disagree with it. But there was three St Johnstone challenges before that. One in particular on Glenn Kamara. Bookings, that shifty, whatever he's called, was shouting and swearing at Willie Collum, pulled over, still shouting and swearing at him, never get booked. But yeah, and I said Tommy was watching the game with me tonight, and I said to Tommy, after all these challenges went unnoticed, or he just had a word with him, I says, 100% Rangers' first challenge, he'll book a Rangers player. And he did. I just thought again, I'm sick of talking about referees, but it's the inconsistency, it really is.
There was two. The one in Aribo was a late tackle. That's definitely a booking. That was in about 12 or 13 minutes, I think, right at the start. Colin decides, no, I'll not give a booking for that. And the Glenn Kamara one is he's been straight through the back of him. It's a stonewall booking. I mean, there's no one's going to tell me that it's not. And then
do you know? Oh, sorry, Carney, sorry. You know the one that really got me upset, and I think you texted the same kind of thing at the same point, was when the big Bassey, was it Bassey or was it Ariba? Was it Ariba one you're on about when he's charging with a ball and the boy tries to pull him back?
Oh, no, it was Bassey.
It was Bassey, yeah. He goes with a ball, but the guy tries to pull him back. But Bassey keeps going and gets away from him, but he never went back and booked the boy.
It's still a booking, but you know what I mean? It's the most frustrating thing in the world because Bassey's off getting, just because Bassey is as strong as a block of flats, he can't pull him down, so he gets away with it and Bassey gets the ball away. Collum, to his credit, plays advantage, fair enough, but you still need to book him because he's not trying to win the ball. He's trying to take his man out. It's just the inconsistent stuff, man. I fucking can't deal with it. And then we might as well talk about it now. See the one Connor Goldson does where he absolutely smashes that boy? Booking all day long. I mean, and this is what I mean. It's not just one-sided. I will say it both-sided. I genuinely will. Goldson's is a booking. How he doesn't get booked for that? No, he's so late on the guy. Do you know what I mean? It's 100% a booking. The consistency of refereeing is shocking. And then there was even a bit where, towards the end as well, Balogun got pushed by one of their subs that get brought on. Pushed. I mean, he must have been a yard at most away from the linesman. The linesman's just standing with his flag at his side, looking at him, and then looks at Billy Collum and goes, "Oh, do you want me to give a throw in, or do you want to give me a free kick?" You're like, what is going on? Do you know what I mean? And this is a country that doesn't want VAR. I mean, come on, man. It's just. We need full-time referees to start off with, man. This can't continue to go on because it's really pulling the game down. But again, he's really not responsible for the standard of what we watched tonight. St Johnstone got a strike from distance. A cross ball created a bit of a problem, and it kind of bounced into the middle, and we had no kind of holding midfielder there. But the shot saved by McGregor. You would kind of expect McGregor to save that. It's a good save, but you would expect him to get down and save it because plenty of time to think about it. Rangers have a good break, put together a really good move. Morelos slips in Arfield, but his shot is way over, and that's followed by a shot from Kent, but that also goes over the bar. And that's pretty much half time. I don't want to bore you all by going over stuff that didn't really particularly happen. My thoughts at half time, mate, a lack of dominance in possession, a pressured possession, if you like. We didn't really have any of it. And yeah, it might have been difficult to play football on that pitch, but you need to do better. And if I'm going to be honest, mate, the defence was giving me the fear. They looked so shaky.
They looked fragile. I honestly thought when we got the first goal, we could go on and kick on, and we didn't. And we do. I've seen it this season with Rangers. We've went a goal up in games and just fallen away in games again. This isn't new. What I've seen tonight, and especially that first half. Yeah, the part wasn't great, but we just played into St Johnstone's hands. The ball up in the air. I thought the midfield, as good as Lundstrom's been recently, I didn't think he had a great game tonight.
Tired.
There was a lot of players blowing out their arse today. But that back line gave me the fear. Every time St Johnstone won a free kick or lumped a ball into our box, I mean, we've said it all season, to be honest, it gives me utter fear. And I'm sitting there at half time going, yeah, we're 1-0 up, but this is awful to watch. And that's why I texted the group chat and I went, I'd get Arfield off now and I'd put Sakala on just for a bit of energy to give us something down the right hand side. But obviously they came out with the same team in the second half.
Yeah, spoiler alert, we finished with the same team, but we will get there. We will get there, mate. So yeah, into the second half, and if you didn't think it could get any worse than the standard of the first half, it really did. Second half was so poor. I mean, from both teams, really from both teams. Not a great deal. We start quite well. When we first come out in the half, we start really quite well. We make a few chances. We don't really capitalise on a poor clearance from Johnstone. Tav should probably shoot, but he slips in Morelos and it kind of bobbles out for a goal kick. It's followed by a great ball into the box by Kent, but the head of Morelos again straight at the keeper. Kent again, I think, was unlucky. Or just before I went to Kent, there was a Hollywood pass from Goldson that kind of come over the shoulder of Aribo, but again, it was a pretty easy save from the goalkeeper. But Ryan Kent, in games like that, he knows, I think, I have to make something happen here because it's only me and Alfie that are going to probably do anything. There was just a lack of so much from the players that you would expect them to really contribute, if that makes sense. I just thought nobody had a real great effect on the game. In Kent, every time we get the ball, there was 2-3 men round him. And Big Bassey, for all his credit, man, the big guy goes up and down that left side over and over and over again. But from here on in, mate, the quality just kind of dropped off a cliff.
Yeah, it's the two players I always think of in that Rangers team that we need to be on song to try and grab the game a bit is Ryan Kent and Joe Aribo. And I thought the two of them, especially that, so we could go through a lot of players to be honest, but the two of them, yeah, flair players if you want to call it. I know the part doesn't help and stuff, but I thought they were disappointing. I thought they were poor. Ryan Kent, I wanted to see try and drive at a guy. But yeah, he had a couple of players on a few times. It was one of the games for Ryan Kent, to be honest. He's not going to be playing. I mean, we've said it before, he's a winger, they're inconsistent, but I'm just hoping that's out of his system, Ryan Kent, and obviously Saturday he'll come back flying at Ibrox, but he wasn't great. My man Joe Aribo, who I love to bits, Jamie Lowe in our group chat, had a go at my man Aribo. But he was correct, Jamie, and he was basically saying the same as what we were going on Barfield. He'd blown out his arse, and Big Aribo, we've been saying it for a couple of weeks, he's the same. The problem with Aribo is I don't think you can pull him out of that Rangers team because I don't know who else you put in to sort of replace him.
True. We signed this guy in January, mate. Was it Aaron Ramsey? Is that what you call him?
Never heard of him.
Nah.
Yeah, he's probably a guy that would play there or where Scott Arfield plays, but obviously he's injured. The only guy you could say, the youngster Lowry, could possibly come on and do that kind of job, but we're in a situation at the moment that do you fling youngsters in when we need to win at the moment? We can't afford drop points, and I would hate for a young lad to come in and we drop points and folk turn on him for something. You know what it's like sometimes, but
yeah,
it was. It wasn't very enjoyable, that second half. I'm struggling to give you any positives on it, Carney.
Well, in all fairness to Aribo, he does do really well with beating a few players. Probably the kind of biggest thing he contributed, and he slipped in Scotty Arfield. He tries to kind of place it into the far corner, and it's saved, and it gets just by the post. Colin gives a goal kick. Obviously, we know it's a blatant save, but I mean, Arfield should score here.
He's got to score. I was off the couch at this point screaming at Arfield because I didn't see the goalkeeper touch it, I'll be honest, but I was screaming at Arfield going, he's got to score it. And to be honest, I know the goalkeeper's got a touch to it, but he's still got to score at Arfield. He had one in the first half, Arfield, where just before half time, where a good bit of play by Rangers and he blazed it over the bar and he should have hit the target. He was frustrating tonight, Arfield, but I put a lot of that down. He's played a lot of games, Arfield, and like we said, he's been blown out his arse. So I don't want to criticise him too much because I really think he's been playing an empty the last few games, and I don't think it's fair to play him every week at the moment.
Let's then move on to, mate. 65 minutes is the first time I've noted this down. Still no change. If only we had a fast winger from Zambia on the bench because our right side is crying out for some pace. We had the ball in the net, to be fair, but when Goldson heads it home from a free kick, but it was definitely offside and it's obviously ruled out. We were then nearly the master of our own downfalls with a header back from Tav to McGregor. I was like, come on, man. Honestly, I was just like, this would be the most typical thing because, look, I'll not be coy about it. St Johnstone did absolutely nothing that entire game. They really didn't. Apart from that one shot from in the first half. In the second half, I don't think they tested McGregor. But as I say, that one, that would have been so typical, mate, wouldn't it? That header back from Tav to McGregor.
That was the biggest Rangers thing you've ever seen. Absolutely. I mean, how many times have we seen a goal like that happen against us?
Yeah.
Me and Tommy were sitting watching it, and I was like, oh no. And I don't even know who was to blame more. Was it Tav? Was it McGregor? Tav heads it back, but it's kind of soft. McGregor doesn't really commit to catching it properly. And the way our luck's been at the moment, I was just waiting on it and them clattering into each other and it breaking to St Johnstone player and it hitting the back of the net. And
I fully expected that to happen. If you want to see how our defence is feeling right now, watch that clip back. That's exactly how our defence is feeling. In the last 15 minutes, mate, I've wrote still no change.
No sense.
And we're in for a very uncomfortable last 15 minutes of this match for sure, but very scrappy. Poor quality. This is just the notes that I've put down. The pitch was getting worse and worse by the passing minute. Into the last 10, St Johnstone bring on the fourth sub, using the bench, clearly going for it to try and grab a goal, bringing on O'Halloran as well for obviously to try to catch us out with a bit of pace. And at the same time, Rangers bring on no one. St Johnstone, as I say, brought on pace. We were starting to put in really tired tackles, mate. That last 5 minutes was probably the longest 5 minutes of my life, to be honest. And Willie Collum adds on 2 minutes. So that's the only thing I can thank Willie Collum for tonight is that he didn't somehow manage to come out with 7 minutes of added on time. And thank you to anybody that's listening up there. Rangers getting away win, mate, and we get out of there. Look, mate, it's not a classic. It's by no means the performance that some would maybe expect. However, you've got to take it and run.
Yeah, it's 3 points. I mean, I said on
we deserved the win.
Yeah,
Let's be honest as well.
No, we did deserve it. Yeah, we were the better team, but I mean, St Johnstone are where they are for a reason. And and tonight, I know why they're down there. They can't score goals. They can hardly get up the park. They're not great, so they're in trouble, St Johnstone. But I don't really care about St Johnstone. But it's no. I mean, I wanted a performance. I knew, we all said it'd be a stuffy game. I didn't think it would be as bad as it was, if I'm being honest. But at the end of the day, I just wanted 3 points, and I've got 3 points. I would say on the no substitutions for Van Bronckhorst, it worries me. It really worries me how every man and their dog is sitting, screaming at the telly. I had a wee look at Twitter through second half, which I don't like doing, and everybody was going, are we meant to sub? Are we meant to sub? And I mean, I'm looking at the bench. Sakala, Roof, Wright, Lowry, Sands, King, Barisic and Zawowski. You tell me there's nobody on that bench who could have come on tonight to add a bit of energy. Sakala, Wright, Lowry, there's 3, even Roof. It baffles me. We've got so many games coming up, and it utterly baffled me how he didn't make a substitution tonight.
Are we going to put it down to trust? What do we think? Do we think Gio?
I said the very thing to Tommy. I said he's sitting there as baffled as me. I mean, you can make 5 substitutions now, not 3. You can make 5. We've got a bench there for a reason. And I said the exact same thing to Tommy Carney. I said maybe he doesn't trust these guys on the bench. Mm-hmm. Maybe he doesn't think they're good enough to come on. And it worries me. It worries me going forward that he can't see what we can see in terms of making substitutions, especially with the amount of games we've got coming up. We play Aberdeen Saturday, and obviously we've got the European game on the Thursday as well. There's a lot of games coming up, so we need to rotate to a point. I'm not asking him to rotate lots of players, but come on, we can all see it tonight. Really, we're blown out there are some of the players.
I was actually saying the same thing. I'm like, why are you not making any sub at all? Like, surely you must be thinking, even the last 10 minutes, that I need to get a bit of freshness on here. I have to. I mean, I don't understand it. I really can't understand it. And it's not that players were particularly poor. The game was poor all over. But as we've said, players like Lundstrom, okay, there's maybe not a direct sub for Lundstrom. Well, Sands, for example, Sands could come on and do a job there. But even Aribo, Arfield were just blown out their arse. They really were. There's no better way to put it. They looked absolute. Scott Arfield at a point at the end of that match didn't even want the ball. He was that tired. He was just like, "I don't give it to me. Just generally don't give it to me." It just made no sense. And he was putting in a few slack tackles, tired tackles, and lost his man at one point. But when they were breaking forward. But yeah, it's baffling. I'm sure he'll get asked. I don't know if he will get asked. I don't know if he can ask a question like that, whether he would answer. I suppose it's really up to him what he decides to do. But yeah, not making that sub is very worrying. It really is, because we needed something. I think as fans, it would even have made us feel a little bit better. Maybe it's down to the whole thing, right? Well, we're winning. I don't want to disrupt anything, but if St Johnstone had scored, I don't think we were scoring another one in that second half. So, look, it's one of those things, mate. But yeah, I don't think any of us will be able to actually figure out why Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, only he knows. Only he knows why he didn't make us up tonight. But it's 3 points, mate, and we get out of there. And hopefully this is the start of a winning run for Rangers. At least it's a wee bit more positive than it was last night, even though we started pretty scathing, I suppose. So it was a man of match tonight, mate.
Oh, God. I like giving a couple of players a wee shout out who I thought were decent before giving my man of the match. I thought Morelos, I felt for Morelos tonight. I thought he was good. I thought he didn't have any service from players that should be supporting him, i.e. Ryan Kent and Joe Aribo. I thought they were disappointing. I thought Kamara was decent in spells at points, because I thought the midfield was disjointed. I thought he was probably the best out of a bad bunch. Mm-hmm. But I've got to give it to Big Bassey. I've got to give it to the big man. He was booked early doors, and I thought it's dangerous being on a booking on that park as well, the way he plays. I thought he's just one challenge away from going off the park, and he was disciplined the second half, and he was offering an out ball for Rangers. He was going up and down that wing. So for me, it's Big Bassey all day long.
That's fair enough, mate. Can't really disagree with that. I'll give it to Alfredo Morelos, just because he was just constant. He didn't stop Morelos, and he was battling his heart out to try and get something going. Unlucky not to score with the one that hit the post, but he got the assist for Kamara's goal. So yeah, I'll give it to Alfredo just for his endless effort tonight. It really was. That'll do us, mate. As I say, slightly more positive. I will be back on Friday with club preview. So Alistair, thank you very much, mate.
No problem. Scotia didn't miss much tonight, to be honest. So I hope he enjoyed his concert tonight. I don't even know who it was again. Some band back for the 90s or something he's watching.
Blink-182 or something, I think.
Take Back Sunday or something. Or
something like that.
Taking
Back Sunday. You're right, it was
Taking Back Sunday. Is that who
it
is? Christ. Yeah. Honestly, he likes living in the past, Scotia. It's certainly good for him. But no, it wasn't a classic, but at the end of the day, it's 3 points and we march on till Saturday.
Yeah, I know. Look, we've tried to make it a wee bit positive tonight. The past two podcasts, the start of this podcast and last night's podcast were pretty negative. So we kind of laugh our way through that. Look, if we can continue to perform like that the rest of the season, we will drop points. Yeah. Things still things to be done here, still things to improve on. However, it's 3 points and it's all we asked for. And now it's important that we get back to winning ways, and it's an away win in the league. My goodness, who could have asked for much more? So yes, that'll do. Shameless plug from me as always. Please like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll speak to you all on Friday for a club preview. So we are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and I'll speak to you all next time. Cheers.